Today is June 23rd, 1995. I'm continuing speaking with Herb Maker about his experiences with the Shevlin-Hixon Logging and Lumber Company of Bend, Oregon. This is tape number 9, Scanlon Oral History Project. My name is Ron Gregory, and the tape belongs to me. See here. We were talking about the picnic, Herb, so can you start up with that again? Tell me about it.
It was always on Labor Day. And at camp, they'd polish up one of the engines, locomotives, just have it shine, clean it all up good. Then they'd take some flat cars and build some seats on it, cover it with planks and put seats on them. Then they had bunting all around them. And the same thing they did in Bend. And everybody would get on the train and head for Benham Falls on that day. And they'd pull the train right down in the picnic area. Then they'd do the same thing for a train into the mill. They'd clean it all up and they'd put seats on it. And the Shevlin-Hixon mill had a band. And they would put them on a flat car, and they'd come out to Benham Falls. Well, the camp train usually got to the picnic before the one from Bend, and they'd always coming across the bridge when the train from the mill would come. The band would start playing, and they would push their cars down into the picnic area too. They'd also bring the supply car out, this big box car, and they had a big dance pavilion, open dance hall pavilion there, and they had tables, and they had all this food, watermelons, hot dogs, and all kinds of things. And then they had games. Everybody played them. They had sack races, three-legged sack races, I think they called them. And it was just a big picnic, is what it was. And all the food was furnished by the company.
Everything, the meat and
everything. And then in the evening, when the starting to get dark, why everybody get on the train and head back for home. And it was, they did that for years and years, as long as I could remember. And it was quite a celebration.
So they had quite a few activities out there.
Oh, yes, they had.
And did they offer prizes?
Oh, yes, they had everything. They had prizes, and the kids would have pillow fights. You'd get on a pole, and they give them a pillow, and they start hitting each. It was, I don't know what all they did. And the dancing, they had dancing there.
Well, were any of the activities, must have been connected with the logging industry? They have anything like log rolling or
no, they
chopping?
didn't have any of that. No, this was just a family picnic. They didn't have any competition in that respect. And it was
no tug of war, rope.
Oh yeah, you bet. They had the woods against the mill. Yeah, it was quite a. And the picnic area was nice. They had restrooms, built restrooms while there.
Well, did this occur at the same place year after year?
Every year.
Yeah, and that was where?
Benham Falls. It's where the old trestle is still, bridge is pilings on it, is still there. And that was right on the railroad to go to Shevlin-Hixon's Log. And eventually, Great Northern used that too.
Well, what did they use it for?
Well, they connected with Klamath Falls.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant the picnic ground.
No, they run right up that same track. But eventually they run it out around and where it is now.
So, who owns that property now? Where the picnic grounds used to be?
I think the Forest Service.
The Forest
Service. I think they do. Yeah.
Have you Ever been back out there to see if anything of the picnic grounds is left?
Yeah, I've been back out, and there's a campground there.
Oh, there is?
Yeah. Yeah, it's nothing like it used to be when the railroad was running in there, and it was quite a sight when you was at that picnic ground to see the picnic area, to see the logging trains going out and coming back from the woods. They went across there, really giving her all they could to get up that hill. It was quite a hill coming up there. They had snow sheds down this way from it, and the snow would blow and cover up the tracks, and they put snow sheds in there to eliminate that. That's when they had steam engines.
So when do you remember, can you think of a year that the picnics, when they started the picnics?
Well, I think it was about 1923 when they went out there, and they were having them then. So I don't know when they started.
Could have been before that.
Before my time, yeah.
You remember when they ended? Taking the trains out and having the picnic?
Let me see when the last time train I went. The last time I remember having that picnic was just before the war. Just before the war.
Okay, so sometime in the 30s? Or?
Yeah, in the 30s, because I know I rode down on the train and it from the Lapine camp down to the picnic area.
Okay. So even with the Depression, the economic and the hard times there, the company still had the picnics. The short amount of money didn't curtail the.
They may have quit them. I mean, they may have not had them for a year or two. They had 1 year, I guess. They may have. I don't remember, but. I don't remember.
Okay.
Whether they did or not.
Okay. Well, when did people take their vacations? Was there a set time, or could you take a vacation whenever you liked?
I think you could take your vacation. Usually it was in the summertime because their kids going to school.
Okay.
And I'm sure that's the only time that they took them. Maybe during the season too, some of them have, but I don't recall.
Was there any time that the mill shut down for repairs or anything, and with the mill shut down, then logging operations?
Yeah, it seems like they did. They'd shut the mill down for repairs, and they'd take vacation then.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
Well, were they paid vacations?
Oh, yes.
They were.
Yeah.
Okay. So after you worked there for X amount of years or whatever, then you were entitled to.
About that, I suppose they did have that. Really, that they had to work there so long. I don't know.
Well, it sounds like Shevlin-Hixon took pretty good care of their folks.
They did.
They treated them well, and
yeah.
People hung around through good times and bad times.
Yeah.
When did people first hear of Shevlin-Hixon selling out to Brooks Scanlon?
Oh, I wasn't working for them then. It must have been in late 40s.
How did they hear about it? Did the company make an announcement that they would be shutting down or closing the doors, to give folks an advance notice?
Yeah, they did. I wasn't working for them then, of course, but it seems like that's what they did because I know my brother-in-law went to work for the railroad in Brooks Scanlon, and a lot of Shevlin-Hixon owned a big mill down in Northern California, McLeod Lumber Company, And a lot of them went down there, and they made arrangements for them to different places like that. For a while, my brother-in-law didn't work for Brooks's. He worked worked on the railroad out of Weed that went way back into the lava someplace, logging, and he and the engineers went down there and on the railroad. But it's a long ways to drive. On weekends they'd come home, so they quit and went to work for Buchanan.
Yeah, my reason for asking is in speaking with Clinton, I thought that your sister Lois had mentioned something about that they had first heard about it by reading about it in the paper.
Well, that could have been, because I wasn't.
And that everybody, it kind of came as a surprise.
Yeah, it did. I know it did.
Okay. Well, people were surprised by this announcement, and how did they respond to it? Were they upset or depressed?
Well, as I recall, they were upset, of course, but they should have known it was coming. I knew it was coming because they were running out of timber, and it was really enough timber probably for one mill to work for a while, run for a while. Now, as I recall, they said they just flipped a coin to see which one continued, and I always thought Shevlin-Hixon was the best of the lumber companies.
Well, I think everybody I've talked to has said the same thing, and a comment that Clint had mentioned, that people were surprised and they were shocked, and his comment was that folks just kind of figured that when you went to work for Shevlin-Hixon, you had a job for life.
Yeah, that's right.
And so they were really kind of caught off guard.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we've pretty much covered the ground here, except I want to ask just a couple more things, and one is, do you think that recording this information about life in Shevlin-Hixon logging camps is worthwhile?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Why?
Well, it's history. Yeah, it's history. I think it is. It would be interesting, I know, to get that together and record it. I think it would be.
Okay, well, I know I've asked you this before, but I'm going to ask you one more time as far as other possible people that I might talk to about doing interviews with them. Can you recall any other folks that might be around or contacted who could give me some information? They didn't have to have grown up in the camps or just even worked there for a while.
There's a fellow, Tommy Russell. He came to camp when he was just a little kid. He lives right down the street here from me, and I'm sure he can give you quite a bit.
His name's Tom Russell?
Yeah, Thomas Russell.
Okay.
Vernon Tom, his name's Vernon Thomas, I guess. A real nice fellow. I've worked with him for years. And I think Tom could do it.
Okay.
Well, there's several of them that don't live here, of course, now. They live in other parts of Oregon.
Well, who might they be? I could always contact him.
Bob Price.
Bob Price. Would that be Robert Price in a phone book?
Yeah, in Medford.
Okay, in Medford.
And George Price is his brother. He lives in Eugene. He was, I'm sure they would have quite a bit to say.
Okay, so Robert and George Price.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When I first talked to you and I picked that film up, you mentioned a woman in Corvallis. Well, it might have been George Conklin's daughter in Corvallis.
Mm-hmm.
And you recall what her married name is now?
Maureen Radliff, I think it is.
Maureen Ratliff.
Ratliff?
Okay.
Maureen, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure she's done, she worked in the offices. She used to make maps, I'm sure. She was a draftswoman, I guess.
So she worked for her dad?
Well, no, she didn't work for her dad. She worked Corvallis for the city.
Oh, I see. This was after the camps.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's a real nice person.
You ever see these folks?
Gosh, I haven't seen them for a long time. I haven't seen them since George Conklin died, I think, at his funeral. He had two boys and two girls, and Maureen was one of them. And I don't know where the boys are. And the girl, one of them, she was a model in New York, and I guess she's back there. I don't know, but the mother's dead too.
Well, Clinton mentioned that they have, or used to have, I don't know, reunions out at Lois's place.
Oh, they still do.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah, they'll have it the first Sunday in August, I think.
But
those fellows will be there.
Oh, those folks
have
come out then.
Oh, yes. There's a lot of them. Yeah. There's one kid that lives in Prineville. He's retired. He had a logging outfit over there. His name was Charles Burgess. I golf with him quite a bit.
And he lives here in Bend?
He lives in Prineville.
In Prineville. Okay. But he was either worked or grew up in
I don't think he ever worked in camp. He grew up, he lived there for quite a while. He was just a little kid and went to school and everything. But I don't know, during the war or something, I guess. I don't think he was old. I don't know whether he was living in camp then or not, but he went to Prineville. And I'm trying to think of the lumber outfit. He married the daughter. And he did a lot of logging over there. And there's a girl, his sister lives here in Bend, too. She probably has quite a bit. Her name is Roseanne Dubereau. Her husband worked for the Forest and did. He's retired. Dubereau.
Dubereau?
Dubereau.
How do you spell that?
Gosh, I don't know.
Okay, that's all right.
Dubereau, I got it in the phone book here.
Okay, I'll see if I can find it. Okay, well, good.
He's working. He's retired, but he's working for the park department in the city here now. So Barney Dubereau is his name.
Okay.
I suppose it's Bernard. I don't know. That's about the only ones that's around here. I don't know of anybody else. A lot of them are gone.
I think you might have mentioned Mr. Redden's daughter.
Ruth Redden?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's in Grants Pass.
Uh-huh.
She's married to a state policeman. I don't know whether he's retired or not. And I can't think of what his name was.
Okay. Does she come up to the reunion every once in a while?
No, she doesn't. I saw her up here at a lodge meeting one day, and I wouldn't have known her. She was really a pretty girl when she was young. I mean, she's still a nice little lady, but she changed a lot, and I didn't know her. She'd come over and slap me on the back, and I would never recognize her, and she told me who she was.
Mm-hmm.
She's in Grants Pass, yeah, Grants Pass.
Well, that's I appreciate it, Herb. That's
My sister might know.
Okay.
I don't know. She probably does.
This has all been very helpful to me, and
Well, I hope it has.
like I say, any person that I can get some information,
Yeah, sure.
just add stuff
I know
to
what you mean.
what I'm doing here. But